Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is In the Game Kaya. I'm a DPS flex in Marvel Rivals, and I'm here to talk about the patch notes that just got released today. Some pretty interesting things, and so I'm just going to kind of break it down piece by piece. I have the website pulled up here, and so we're going to go through character by character. I apologize for the very lightly edited nature of this video, but due to a driver issue, I don't have access to my video editing software right now. I'm working on getting that fixed. It literally won't open, so I'm doing what I can here. Okay, so let's start with Vanguard Deadpool. With reducing the Banhammer gun form ultimate ability, healing provided while active from 50 to 25 per second. That's pretty good because gun ultimate for Deadpool has kind of been his go-to ultimate, at least for the Vanguard version. And what a lot of times you will do is you'll isolate a high-value target, which is often a strategist. I actually have it in my highlight reel. I had a game where I played tank pool. And so I was just, there was one time where I hit the Squirrel Girl, I'm pretty sure, and then for the most part I was just... Guess who just showed their stupid faces? Just ulting the strategist, like the Cloak and Dagger, to secure a pick. But once he does that, he gets a bunch of overshield, he gets healing over time, and then it does damage on a tick. And so reducing the healing that he gets is going to be good. Because it's really difficult to kill tank pool once he pulls that off, especially if it's upgraded. It goes crazy. And then reduce dual Desert Eagles Vanguard single shot damage from 36 to 34 in standard and 42 to 39 upgraded. So the thing about Deadpool is his, specifically tank pool, his guns fit a niche that most other tanks can't even touch. It's like, who else? Yeah, like nobody else has that. Like Emma has a beam, I guess, but Venom's tentacles have a range limit. Venom's beam has a range limit. Strange's daggers have a range limit, and their projectile, Magus projectile, he has a range limit. You know, like, Deadpool is hit scan and has basically limitless range. I mean, he does have damage fall off, but it's so small. It was just business. It's just effective to continue poking in a way that no other tank really can. And so he can put out some really consistent damage from the tank roll. Whereas when you switch to the swords, although they do technically do more damage, your range becomes so much shorter. And the tanks that you would be fighting with these typically have a lot more ways to handle you when you're in close. So, for the most part, you find yourself using these pistols a lot, and you get a lot of value out of them. So, if you're going to nerfing him just a little bit, so you'll still be able to do some good damage. I do think that this is enough. He was already arguably balanced enough. He was, like, top 2 tank in the game, but this is probably good enough for him. For Emma, who has been feeling a little bit weak lately, she is getting an upgrade to her her beam and her diamond form and her shield. Okay, so her beam, once she charges it, after a few seconds it starts to drain itself. And the thing about Emma that is important to use her at the highest level is to keep the beam as high as possible for as long as possible. And there are tricks to keeping it up. Like if you turn on your diamond form, it doesn't drain as long as diamond form is active. You can hit deployables like Groot walls or Loki clones in order to keep it up. Even a Moon Knight Ankh, I've done that. But after 3 seconds, it starts to drain, and you want to keep it at 100 or as close to 100 for as long as possible, because that's when she really does her damage, and that's when she can be super punishing. I mean, yeah, the diamond form is punishing too, but the beam gives you the consistent pressure, and then the diamond form gives you the burst potential. So the beam not drain. Okay, telepathic pulse fall off now begins at 4 seconds. I'm just going to read it. Telepathic pulse fall off now begins at 4 seconds. Was 3 seconds after not hitting an enemy. So, as it is now, after 3 seconds, it's going to start draining. And what they've done is they've given you an extra second. So it's going to be just that little bit easier to keep her at 100 charge, which is going to help your damage output quite a bit if you can keep it up. And that's definitely, you're going to feel it if you play MO a lot. The Mind's Aegis repositioning isn't the biggest thing, because it's still, you can still reposition it pretty fast, but it's basically instant now. You pull it down and you can send it right back up again. And then, because like this shield, that cooldown's going to 1 second. It's at 3 seconds right now. And then finally, and that cooldown starts as soon as you place it. So if it's up and your cooldown has refreshed, you can F and place it again. So basically, it's almost not a cooldown anymore. It just keeps you from literally spamming it, is all it is. And then the damage reduction for her diamond form is going from 20% to 25%, and she gets the same reduction when she's in her ultimate form to help her get her ultimate off. So she'll have a little bit more survivability, and considering it looks like we might be going into a brawl-heavy season, at least more so than it is already, she's definitely going to need that. And then the final change to Vanguard's is on the Thing, and he's just getting 50 more health. A lot of people are going to say he doesn't really need that, and I mean, to a certain extent that's true in the meta that exists right now. But with things shifting a little bit closer to Brawl, at least from what I'm reading on this patch notes, that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting out of it. He doesn't stand up as well to Brawl as he does to Dive, because he's like hard anti-dive as a tank. And, oh yeah, he can definitely Brawl, for sure. Especially if you go like Hulk and Thing together, between the team up and the fact that they both are at least decent in Brawl, if not pretty good. And then Thing gives you the anti-dive, and Hulk gives you some extra mobility and a little bit of dive on his own. You know, like, these guys are pretty good into Brawl. But I guess, I mean, I don't think it's really going to be that big of an issue. He didn't really need it, I don't think. I think it's a preparation buff that they're anticipating he will need it because of what's coming. That's it for Vanguards. Honestly, I mean, the Vanguards are in a pretty good spot for the most part. And Devil Dinosaur is going to shake up the role, obviously, because anytime a new character gets added in, they shake up the role, unless it's Mr. Fantastic or Blade. But it's just, I feel like there were a couple of other things that could be done. I still feel like, I guess they don't want her to be this, but I've always felt like the problem with Penny is that there's so much power dedicated to her mines and her nest that you have to play her like this in a spot. And so that makes her like super effective in a niche and then not as effective outside of it. I've always thought that they should take some power away from her mines and away from her nest just a little bit, and then put it into her left click and give her possibly another way to generate overshield. Like if she got a crit, if she could get overshield or something, just tiny amount. But that would kind of pull her out of that niche a little bit and make her more usable in every situation. But I think it's pretty obvious they don't want to do that, so, you know, big deal. Honestly, the Vanguards, for the most part, the balance in the game isn't that bad, but Vanguards might be the most balanced role. Strategists are pretty well balanced too. Overall, in terms of power scale, they lean a little bit higher than the tanks. And White Fox and Gambit and Invis are all pretty good, specifically Gambit. And then in triple strat, of course, Mantis and Ultron are also really good in triple strat. So I think tanks are better balanced than supports. They're in a very healthy spot. They don't need a lot of changes. They didn't get a ton of changes. Emma was kind of lagging behind a little bit. I think she's going to be just fine. Tank Pool was one of the better tanks. I think he's going to be, more in line with the rest of the tanks. I think Groot is probably the best tank in the game now. I don't know that there's a discussion about that. We'll see what happens when Devil Dinosaur comes out. Let's go to Duelists. The first one is Iron Fist.
I'm the sworn protector.
Jeet Kune Do hits now reduce the cooldown of Dragon's Defense by 1.2 seconds, up from 1 second. So his Dragon's Defense is his right click. When you hit it, it gives you overshield based on how much damage you block, up to a certain amount. And it can tick up to 3 times. I'm sure you've seen that when he blocks. So now, after you activate your block, when you hit a neutral attack... I have to wait for this to go away because this isn't Jeet Kune Do. Watch the right-click cooldown drop every time you hit a punch. So now, that's going to come back even faster, 20% faster. So the whole loop of Iron Fist was to kind of run up on a wall, meditate, wait for your opportunity, come in, punch a couple of times, block, get some shield, and then either punch or kick out, depending on what happens. And then if you were still in, then you can just kind of do that to get your block back and cycle back in right away. So he's going to be able to do that a little bit faster now. Increase Kunlun Kick's first strike damage from 35 to 40. That's just going to help him. It's his elimination tool. So, in order to secure picks on people, you want to kind of get them low, and then instead of continuing to fight them, his kick works better the lower health they're at. So you get them past a certain point where your kick is going to finish them off, and then you can kick into them. And it has 2 hitboxes. It has an initial hitbox and a secondary hitbox. So they buffed the initial hitbox to do 5 more damage, and that's just going to help him push him a little bit closer to breakpoints so he doesn't have to work quite as hard to get somebody into kill range. And then if you still need to move out, you can do this or jump away or whatever you need to do to get out of the situation. So you have options. Your kick is your best escape option, which is kind of part of the reason that Iron Fist struggles, in my opinion, is that his kill tool is also his escape tool, so you have to either hard commit or get out. Which, it's not bad that he has to make that decision, but then his ability to make that decision, it's in a really, really narrow window that can be really, really punishing to people who don't play Iron Fist a lot. It takes some getting used to. He did need some changes. He's a little bit on the weak side, and they didn't touch him much, so this is probably a good change, all things considered. For Mr. Fantastic, who basically is just an off-tank for the most part. Increased stretch punch damage from 65 to 70, so that's just his primary. And his primary is just, it's kind of a melee attack. I don't know if it bounces off of Strange Shield or not. In my head, I'm seeing it bouncing off of Strange Shield. But it functions mostly like a melee attack. And you just kind of drag it through people to do damage. And so he can hit multiple targets at once. If he's close enough, he can just hit multiple people. So he'll be able to do considerably more damage at 5 more per strike. And then Flexible Elongation, which is his E? Yeah, Flexible Elongation is his E. That gives shields to your teammates, so he has a little bit more ability to get to his teammates. And you can also bounce to somebody. As of right now, it does slow. They're getting rid of the slow when you go to an enemy, and then they're changing the cooldown from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. You get 2 charges of it, so that's 12 seconds for both charges instead of 16 for both charges. And Reduce the energy cost of Brainiac Mount's ultimate ability from 3,400 to 3,100. So he's going to get his ultimate more often, which is fine. His ultimate is not that great. If you damage boost it, it might do something. If he's under a lip, sometimes it's all right. But it's kind of situational. So, given how weak his ultimate is, reducing the cost of it's not a problem at all. Removing the slowdown effect is fine. I don't know how often it was getting used for something like that. I guess in an anti-dive situation it might be. Yeah, ultimately he's going to be doing more damage. He's going to be able to bounce around from teammate to teammate or teammate to foe a little bit more often. And he's still going to have plenty of survivability, especially with his shift, which is so annoying to deal with. But, you know, it is what it is. He's in an awkward spot where he just flat out doesn't do enough damage to be a duelist, which is why it's not that he's a bad character, but that is why he has struggled. He doesn't quite have the staying power to be a tank, and he doesn't quite do enough damage to be a duelist, so he's just utility, which honestly makes him function on the team more so in like a strategist kind of role than anything else, which is kind of weird to say. But fixing the damage problem is going to go a long way. Is it going to completely fix the damage problem? I don't play nearly enough Mr. Fantastic to know. I have almost every character in this game up to at least Captain, and he's one of the few that I don't. So I don't have that kind of feedback to know exactly what he needs. Moon Knight. Real simple. His hook is going from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. And that's all that he's getting. And honestly, that's fine. He does more than enough damage. His ultimate is fine.
On your toes, here they come.
He gets it really fast, which is probably something that they should look at some point. What I would like to see them do with his ultimate is shrink the radius a little bit, so it's a little bit tighter. Not quite as easy to just dodge. And focus the damage a little bit more on it, obviously. And then, if you made it just a little bit more expensive, you could also up the damage of it a little bit. So, like, it's a little bit harder to get out of. Because I feel like he has an ultimate that is kind of used like a breakthrough ultimate, where you use it to cut through super heavy healing in specific spots. Like, I love to throw it into a Sue Storm ultimate, just go like that. Right over the middle of the Invisible One ultimate. And it works great to counter that. That's kind of how I tend to use it.
On your toes, here they come.
And, I mean, it's fine that way, but I feel like, granted for as fast as he gets it, it's more than good enough. But if you're going to slow it down, I think you might want to give it a little bit of a power bump. So, something to consider. This one, when I saw, kind of confused me, is Phoenix.
Did everyone miss me while I was
I'm still in the process of learning Phoenix. I'm not as comfortable with her as I am with Hela. But they're shifting her a little bit. So they're taking damage away from her sparks. So if she hits somebody 3 times, then they explode and it does extra damage and it triggers her passive where she heals herself. So they're taking damage away from that and they're putting it into the direct shot. If I'm doing my math right, she's doing, as of right now, 50, 100. 150 plus 40 is 90.
A foe has revealed themselves.
So,
You really should have known better.
now she'll be doing 55, 110, 165 plus 35. A very, very slight buff on a single target. So she is going to be doing more damage to a single person, but if they're grouped up, she'll be doing less. I don't know. I mean, she's already good as someone who should be weak to dive in a somewhat dive-heavy season. I don't know that she needed changed at all.
That's all it took?
Granted, I mean, if the game is going to go a little bit more brawl heavy, she was pretty good against brawl between being a poke character and having an anti-group up effect on her shot. So maybe that's why they did it. That they're just kind of expecting she's going to get a ton of value out of that. I feel like ultimately it's a buff. Granted, I'm a Hela player, and I've kind of always felt that Hela, at least recently after Phoenix went to 250 HP, I kind of feel like Hela is better than Phoenix, in my opinion. Phoenix is definitely more mobile, but I feel like Hela's higher single target kill potential was what set her apart, and she was just better for it, unless you were at a super high level and you could combo Phoenix with other things, specifically her ultimate. Because Hela's ultimate is not really good at a high level. It gets shot down so fast. I don't know. She's going to get banned a lot. This reads to me like a really small buff, and I don't... she didn't need it. It's really, really tiny. For the most part, you probably won't feel it at all. Maybe like if you're super grouped up, you'll feel the difference. And if she's hitting just you over and over again, you'll feel the difference a little bit. You might die in situations where otherwise you live on a sliver, but she can't one-shot in her ultimate on her own anymore, which, I mean, that's fine. It was kind of hard to do. I've done it once or twice maybe, but not consistently. Like, I try to do it and I still can't do it consistently. The better thing that I've found, at least at my level, which granted I've only hit plat. I'm not a plat player. At least I'm not a low plat player. I'm not exactly sure where I stand yet because I haven't gotten that high. But in my opinion, the better thing to do is to try and throw it into a crowd. If you can combo it with another ultimate, that's great. But sometimes in ranked, you don't get that kind of coordination. And
There you are.
I hate talking on the microphone to my teammates. I'm very uncomfortable doing that. So it's hard for me to coordinate. I just kind of wait for their signal a lot of times. So it was usually better to either combo the ultimate or to throw it into a crowd of low targets with a bunch of sparks applied. So if there were like 4 people all standing here, you just kind of fire into, let's say it's a tank, I just fire into the tank, get a bunch of sparks to go off, get a bunch of people low, and then do this as fast as possible to kind of catch them off guard and try and get in there before they heal up. Which, I think this can be buffered. Can it be? No, it cannot. Okay. So you can't buffer it. So I have always been mash the button guy anyway, but yeah, just try and get that ultimate off into a low crowd is kind of how I've always played it anyway. I don't know that that's going to change the way I play Phoenix, but I'm definitely not the kind of person that this change is going to matter for. Like, I only barely have her to captain. I'm working on it. And I play in plat, so, like, obviously this is not going to affect me. I'm just kind of wondering, because I alternate between the two based on who gets banned. I've seen Hela banned several times, and so I'll play Phoenix when Hela gets banned. Or sometimes I'll play Phoenix based on the comp, although I usually play Moon Knight. It's a little more consistent against Brawl, in my opinion. At least where I've been so far. But I'm trying to get more comfortable with Phoenix, so... I'm just wondering if she's going to get banned more often than she does. She still gets banned somewhat consistently at a high level, from what I understand. Spider-Man. Spider-Man got a buff to his ultimate. His ultimate does more damage.
Who has the chance to be a hero? I believe that. Pretty sure those are bad guys. Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
As it is now, it does 408, and now it does 450. There'll be a couple of times where you have strategists who maybe they're getting healed and they're a little bit low, and you'll finish them off now instead of them living on a sliver, and you'll have to finish them off afterwards. But it's not really a change for the most part. If you're a Spider-Man player, you'll notice it a couple of times, but like if you're a strategist player and you hate Spider-Man, this isn't going to change your opinion. It's not really going to make him worse. Not that big of a deal. Squirrel Girl. She's a really hard character
Hello, my
to
name's Lorian
change.
Green, and it makes me sad when people don't listen to animals.
She's really good against bunched up groups and people who try to stand around cover or down hallways. Because she can
Spotted bad guys. There they are.
lob, you know, acorns off of the wall and hit people who are bunched up.
Oh no.
Like that.
Our vans are gonna be so mad at me.
So her niche is kind of ricocheting shots around a corner, or if you're in really low elo, it's just pumping fire down a hallway. So like you don't want to buff her damage because she already destroys low-level lobbies, like lobbies I'm in and lower. She can still be a problem to my teammates in the lobbies I'm in. So you definitely don't want to buff her damage that way. And then, like at a high level though, she doesn't quite do enough damage in a lot of situations. And she is absolutely, like, when I started getting Black Widow to Lord, I loved playing against Squirrel Girls because they were the easiest things to hit. Sometimes they're easier than Jeff's. A lot of Squirrel Girls have a tendency to just stand still and spam, and they can just get away with it. But they are so easy to hit, and then once you tail bounce, you're just super easy to hit because your arc becomes extremely predictable. It's crazy. I was able to hit bouncing Squirrel Girls before I started aim training on the regular. So what they're doing is they're changing her E, which is what I did to activate her tail bounce. So her Mammal Bond gives her the ability to activate either her tail bounce or her CC a second time, either while it's in the process of coming off of cooldown or even before. Like you can E first and then do that. So something you can do with Squirrel Girl is, I'll wait for my cooldowns to come back here a sec. And this is something you can use to one-shot a character if you get close. You're going to E, right-click, left-click, right-click, left-click. Just like that, and they can't move. If you eat your Mammal Bond first, and you land your first CC, they're basically guaranteed dead. So she'll be able to do that more often, which is kind of interesting.
So mad at me.
You're not going to feel it in really low-level lobbies because the way they play Squirrel Girl is they just sit there and they just do this. And it's not going to change this at all. If you were banning Squirrel Girl before because you hated playing against that, it's not going to change anything. But really high-level Squirrel Girls probably get some value out of it. I feel like, me personally, I haven't watched any advanced Squirrel Girl guides. This is just what I know about the character. I feel like personally it's better to use the E for the right click than it is to use it for the tail bounce because, like I said, that tail bounce becomes extremely predictable. Like, that's not an escape tool. That's a get to high ground button. Don't think of it as an escape tool unless you absolutely have to, like, dodge a Black Panther or something. Okay. What else? Star-Lord. This, I think, was too much. Star-Lord is just fine. He's not top tier. He's like mid-A tier. But he got 25% more ammo. So his, like, you can see his clip in the bottom left corner is going from 40 to 50. That's what a Star-Lord clip does. He can one-clip strats now. He's going to need the aim to do it. But it's easier to do than you might think. He will be able to one-clip strats now. He can already do it if you can get some headshots in. But now he can do it on body shots. Just like that. And that's like 1 1/4 seconds. He can just one-clip. Which is insane. It'd actually be probably pretty good against Gambit now. Because Gambit's 250. He has the mobility to keep up with Gambit when Gambit tries to move. And he'll be able to one-clip a Gambit. So if you're having a Gambit problem, Star-Lord might be... Plus he works good with Gambit too. His ult Oh, it would buff his ult too, wouldn't it? Because I don't think his ammo changes when he ults. Yeah, it's going to make his ult better too. Holy cow. Star-Lord is going to be nuts. I have to play more Star-Lord next season. Wolverine, his passive is his regenerative healing factor, which gives him an extra health bar when he hits 0. He stops at 1 health and instantly gets the bunch. He gets 255 health. And then after a second, it turns into real health. So he's going from a 105-second cooldown to a 90-second cooldown. It might as well not be a change. I don't think you're really going to feel that at all. Like, good Wolverines don't trigger that very often, as it is, because they're in and out in a split second. In terms of the other DPS that they didn't touch, I feel like Punisher's shotgun probably needed a very small nerf. Whether you change the clip size, change the spread radius, you know, do something with it to kind of make it not quite so punchy. I guess it's not like the worst thing, because even as effective as it is, it doesn't really get banned. And I don't know, I don't watch that much MRC at all. I don't know if it's effective at pro play at all, but probably not, I would assume. I just feel like it's the shotgun's a little bit overtuned, and so they could have tuned that down a little bit. As for Storm, I feel like she should go to 275. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like Storm should go to 275. I guess she does get the shield now if you're in wind mode. Real good at landing my shots. This must be a comp match. All the shots I'm missing. No Hawkeye changes is fine, honestly. If we're shifting away from a dive season, he'll creep up tier lists without changing him at all. Hella didn't need changes. BP, honestly, like, people will complain, but if you're not going to rework him,
My aim is true.
he's kind of fine where he's at. Because he has decent uptime. He has some mobility options. He gets hard shut down by Thing. But, I mean, you can't really change that unless you significantly alter his kit. They could add they take 25 HP from him. They could add that back. Maybe. Like, I don't know what you would do to BP to make him better. As you can see, I have the crispiest BP gameplay. Like, he needs something, but what he needs is either some change that's small because it's super niche, but ends up helping him out, at least potentially specifically with the Thing matchup. But other than that, like, I don't know. He has good enough uptime. He has good enough mobility. Change his run speed. Like, does he have 600 unit run speed like everybody else? Take this to 700 like Wolverine? Maybe. That might be something. Like, that would be an interesting change. And that would help him get out of Thing's smash radius. So that might help a little bit. I don't know. People are going to complain about Widow. And they're like, oh, she doesn't do enough damage, or she's super buggy, or whatever. They fixed a couple of her bugs over the time I've spent playing her. And it's not that she doesn't do enough damage. Her damage is just fine.
Target neutralized.
It's the downtime, honestly. It's like if you land a body shot, you have to wait for it to clip again. I think if you...
Here they come.
I think if you took away the chambering when she was hip firing, so she could hip fire faster, I think that would probably be literally all she needs. Maybe an extra 5 damage to these. I have no idea how much damage this does, but maybe like an extra 5 damage on each strike with these, or speed up the animation or something. And then you could also give her an extra ability. But I don't think she needs completely reworked. I think she just needs speed up her chamber speed, remove chambering on hip fire. You could even like change the crit ratio on hip fire to compensate. So you had the scope to get the double damage. And then this could be 1.5. Or you could make the fall off like super crazy when it's on hip fire. But she has too much downtime. That's the problem. It's not the damage. Because you're going to tell me that a character who's boosted by Mantis or Ultron or Storm can just one-tap a Luna Snow just like that? Like, that's not a damage problem. And she's not weak to dive either. They definitely need to, if they're going to change her, they definitely need to change this. That cannot be an all-direction thing, because the thing about Widow with her kick is, much like Spider-Man's uppercut, it is not directly in front of her, and some low-level dive players will not know this about her, but it is a radius around her, just like that. And then she doesn't have to hit the same target. She can hit a different target, so she might not even hit you. It just hit someone else on your team and end up shutting you down in the process because somebody else got hit. Absolutely crazy. First of all, that kick needs to be directional. It should be a cone in front of her. What is it, like 8 meters or something? I think that's fine as long as it's a cone in front. Secondly, the follow-up grapple shot
Target neutralized.
should always go to the same target. And if she can't get there, she can't get there. It shouldn't be able to go to a different target. That's stupid. So if you change her downtime and then compensate nerf her by changing how her kick works so it's more fair, I think that's fine. You could turn this into a skill shot, and so she still has a great tool to deal with dive. And she's going to be really good against dive if you're really good at Widow. Because they'll be able to follow a BP or whatever is diving them. No problem. Completely shut them down, still land that one-shot combo. That's not an issue. Like, most of these are like really small things, like ticky-tack things. I don't think there's a bad change in the DPS lists. The one character that absolutely needed, like, Black Cat is a little early to nerf her. She probably could have gone with a nerf. I think she needs a cooldown on her shop so she can't spam it, but like that's what I would do. I have never actually played her in a match. I've just watched people, so I have zero seconds of playtime on her. I've never even loaded her in training range. That's the first time I've loaded her as a character. So I'm just speaking purely from observation. I think she can spam her shop too fast. There needs to be like a 1-2 second cooldown, 3 second cooldown, whatever on her shop, and then I think that alone probably makes her fine. And then Daredevil needed a nerf.
I deliver a new kind of justice now.
What does he need?
Justice.
I think the block goes on a little bit too long.
Our enemies.
The Sonic Pursuit is kind of dumb.
Fire. Can't run from justice.
That's basically all I would say. If you're gonna nerf him, change this to 1 second instead of 2, so it's like that.
Wrath of the beast. You've been sentenced to public humiliation.
Something like that. Like not anything major. He's just slightly overtuned. And if you're worried about dive, you kind of have to ban Daredevil. He's like the dive character. Him and Black Cat are crazy. Spider-Man is like the absolute peak of what balance for dive is. Or should be. But then Daredevil and Black Cat are both arguably better than Spider-Man. I think they probably are in higher level lobbies. There's so many more Spider-Men that you're more often going to see a good Spider-Man down where I'm at than you are going to see a Daredevil or Black Cat. So Spider-Man is usually the better ban where I'm at. But up higher, you absolutely have to ban Daredevil or Black Cat from what I've seen, because they get banned all the time and Spider-Man doesn't get banned near as often. But like if we're talking needed nerfs, that's probably it. If we're talking needed buffs, BP needs something really tiny. Fantastic got what he needed. I think Torch is fine now. Blade probably needs another really small tweak up just a little bit more damage, but his survivability is fine at least anyway. Yeah, like DPS for the most part's in a really good spot right now. Like even Iron Man, people complain about. He hard counters some comps. He can kind of like in the same way a BP is really powerful but gets shut down super easy. Iron Man's the same way. He's really great in the right hands and completely shuts down certain team comps, and just people aren't used to it. They're like, oh, they have an Iron Man. Nobody like pockets an Iron Man. Now for strategists. Like I said before, strategists front to back are the highest on average balance in the game. I don't think they're, other than Gambit is the best character in the game, but other than that, like, none of them are stupid. Jeff can be stupid in the right situation. I think if you ditched him from the Venom team up, like if you get rid of the Venom team up, I think, or the Deadpool team up, but the Deadpool team up's newer. If you get rid of the Venom team up, I think he's fine. And honestly, even then, like, he's not crazy. Everybody here, for the most part, was alright. I think Adam probably needs a really small tweak up. Gambit needed another nerf. White Fox had a little bit too much self-survivability. Invis has crazy utility. And then Mantis and Ultron are really good in triple strat specifically because of how much damage they can put out. Or really help your team put out. So let's see. Strategist. Invisible Woman is getting her force physics push distance from 12 meters to 10 meters and damage from 55 to 50. So
Who wants to see something
that's
fantastic?
this. Well, technically that's the pull.
My kids fight harder.
So the push
Clear the way.
is going from 12 meters to 10 meters and damage from 55 to 50. What is the pull doing? Are they... Either they didn't mention the pull or they didn't change the pull, and I think the pull is better in like 90% of situations. So, I don't know. I think they should have nerfed. If anything, they were going to nerf. I think they should have nerfed the pull, not the push. Well, it's not like she's stupid, but she is definitely really frustrating to go against, depending on who you're playing. Loki. Increase Loki Illusion's Mystical Missile healing ratio from 90 to 100. Reduce damage from 90 to 80. So they're making him a little bit more focused on healing
Unreliable, vindictive, and yet
and a little bit less on
oddly
damage.
compelling, don't you think?
So I think that's honestly a fine change. It's not like DPS Loki was this huge thing that they absolutely had to consider, but I mean, you know, a little bit more healing, a little bit less damage is fine. Here's why I think they changed it. You play Loki in triple sup. The main reason triple support is so viable is because of how much damage they can put out. Yes, strategists do less damage than duelists. Or, depends on the Vanguard. But you can compensate for that with Mantis damage boost, Ultron damage boost, and just general decent damage output by your strats. So if Loki is played so often in triple support, he's going to be doing more healing, which isn't a problem in triple support. There already is plenty of healing. So that you're not really going to feel that probably much at all. And he'll be doing less damage. So it makes the weakness of triple support that much more profound. That's what I think they were going for here. And then increase the energy cost of his ultimate from 4,300 to 4,500. Honestly, what I think Luna has the most expensive ult in the game at 5,000. Loki should just automatically be identical to whatever the highest cost ult in the game is. Because it doesn't matter what the best ultimate in the game is, or how much it costs. Loki gives you a second one. So why shouldn't he have the exact same ultimate energy cost? I don't know. Like if the most expensive ult in the game is 5,000 points, I don't know why Loki's ult isn't 5,000 points. that would significantly reduce how often he ults, and it's kind of his identity. But I mean, what are you gonna do? He needs something, because
Healing for my friends.
going against one Luna Snow ult back in the day was bad enough.
They are in front of us.
Now
Idiots.
it's, you know, then you had two, and now it's the Gambit ult. Going against one Gambit
have
ult
many
is bad
faces.
enough, and now they have two. So just, you know, raise the problems on Loki. Honestly, like, obviously, raising the cost of the ultimate ability is what they needed to do. So if you play Loki in double support, you'll probably actually like this change. Save the ult nerf, but if you play Loki in triple, you'll feel it a little bit. So that's probably a good change. A lot of these seem... Mantis is next, and her damage boost is getting reduced. Yeah, I think they were trying to specifically target exactly triple support, which is hard to do. People are going to say, oh, supports do too much damage, so make them do less damage, and then triple support is worse. I mean, yeah, that's true, but then, like, some of these triple support strategists, like exclusive, like Mantis, Atom, Ultron, arguably get worse, because you would have to nerf their damage. Other than, I don't know, Luna Snow, none of the strategists do crazy damage. So I think you would have to nerf specifically Mantis's damage, Ultron's damage, that kind of thing, to make triple support worse. You could say nerf healing. That's not going to make people run less triple support. That's going to make people run more triple support, because they'll want the same healing numbers. That's how it works. Oh, the healing is too good. The sustain is painful to go against, so nerf the healing. This is not roll lock. They're going to play more triple support to make sure that they get the same healing numbers. So you can't just nerf the healing output. So you have to target it in specific ways. The ult change was one thing that they did specifically, because healers get more ultimate charge from healing than they do from damage. Is that true? Well, they have to be more active, and they're usually going to be doing far more healing than they are going to be doing damage. So if you're going to play triple support, you need to be making sure that you're playing it for a reason, getting a lot of value out of it, and being proactive and doing damage still, and less sustaining in order to continue to get your ultimates. Like, that's how the ult change worked. And now it looks like they're targeting specifically the damage boost that Mantis and Ultron were giving, because that was part of what made them so busted. Because Mantis could just leaf a target, and they would do so much more damage that although you're putting out less damage because it's a triple support comp between Mantis damage boost and Ultron damage boost, all the damage boosts going around, you're actually putting out more damage, not less. Like, that's kind of how that works. So by giving her less damage, that's going to, or, you know, less of a damage boost, that's going to help with that. Now, I'm curious. I'd have to run the numbers. Widow. So I want to say her shot does 120 damage, which is 240 on a crit. What is 8% of 240? Hang on, I gotta pull out the calculator. Widow's still one shot. 240 times 1.08. Oh, sorry. 259.2. Okay, 240 times 1.12. 268.8.
Hostile ahead.
I must have the number wrong. Because I want to say that Widow was absolutely able to one shot a 275, because she could do it. She could kill Cloak and their ult before they got nerfed to 250, couldn't they? Or they got changed to 275. Yeah, they got changed to 275. She could one tap these guys. So I have the number, the damage number on her shot wrong. Anyways. What was the other Mantis change?
And still destroy them.
New effect. Now provides a flat 100 movement speed boost to allies. With Ultron having access to conventional damage buff capabilities, Mantis needs to carve out a more unique functional niche. By adding a movement speed buff, Mantis can better aid her team with position and kiting. So,
Our enemies are here.
everyone in the character, or every character in the game, save for a few exceptions, moves at 600 units of speed. Mantis actually moves at 900 when she's at full health because of her passive. Nature's Favor. Receive a movement boost. It used to be doubled. Now it's 1.5. That was back in Season 1. They made that change. Let's see. So almost every character in the game gets 600 units of movement speed. So a flat 100 movement speed buff is a 1/6 buff. That, what's that, like a Jeff bubble? It's like a Jeff bubble, I think. So in the same way that a Jeff bubble speeds you up, like this, Mantis is going to do the same thing when she inspires her allies. So just like a Jeff, she'll be able to help her team get to point. That's going to help the divers that she buffs to get into position faster, get in faster, get out faster. And they'll have less damage, but they'll have a movement speed buff. So that keeps Mantis effective, but makes the damage output for playing Mantis not quite as effective. So you're trading the utility of Mantis for damage. So that should bring the damage a little bit more in line. I don't see any Ultron. Yeah, there's no Ultron changes. Okay, Rocket Raccoon.
I do the right thing unless the wrong thing is more
Increase
fun.
bombard mode hit damage per projectile from 16 to 17. This,
Those guys
honestly,
are about to shoot
like,
at
people
us.
don't left click often enough as Rocket. This thing does stupid damage, and a lot of people don't realize how much damage it does. Because, like, they play Rocket like this. This is not how you play Rocket. This is brain dead gameplay. I don't care how easy your character is. Cloak and Dagger, Rocket, Wanda, Thing. It doesn't matter. If you're just sitting there doing this is not gameplay.
You're ready?
You are not getting peak value doing that. I don't care what rank you're playing in. But look at how much damage this does. And this is going up 1 damage per pellet.
As long as I got bullets, I win.
A piece of cake just appeared on my desk.
Yep, cake. It is cake. Let them eat cake.
Imagine is it cake showing somebody just down there?
Is it a cake? Yeah, it's a cake. Okay,
Those guys are about to
increase
shoot at
repair
us.
mode charges from 8 to 10.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, I don't think that's really going to change much of anything, because those things are alive for so long, they bounce so many times.
I'll patch you up.
You might feel it a little bit. Not a bad change, but I don't think that Heal Bot Rocket is what we need to be buffing. And then change the cost of his ultimate from 4,300 to 4,000.
This is real firepower.
Considering Gambit kind of fits the same niche that Rocket does, if you're not going to nerf Gambit's ultimate, this helps Rocket be a little bit more valuable in his niche. But if you're a Rocket player, you still have to ban Phoenix. Like, if you want to get any kind of value, you have to ban Phoenix consistently. Because you can just completely shut it down. And even then, like, you have to make sure, even if you ban Phoenix, you have to make sure that you place it in a specific
guys are
spot
about
so
to
it doesn't
shoot
get
at
shot
us.
down or whatever. Okay, White Fox is the last one. Increased healing amount provided by the surrounding aura during Fox Form Awakening from 25 a second to 35 a second. Reduce burst healing generated by each successful attack from 35 to 25. So what a lot of White Foxes were doing
I don't raise my voice.
is
My actions speak for
whenever
me.
they would get dove, or they would go in even, they would just activate this and just continue to land attack after attack. And as long as you land every single attack, you would heal at 100 health per second, which is kind of like an ultimate, honestly. It's some crazy. So they're bringing that down a little bit.
The hunt continues.
So she will,
Our prey is in the open.
when she activates it
Ancestral
and
power.
there's no one around, she'll have more passive healing, which is fine. And then she'll do less on her attacks, which will make her a little bit more killable while she's doing it. And even at my lower level, I could already kind of feel this on White Foxes. We play against them. I might be conflating this with quick play, which is harder than the comp lobbies I currently play in. But yeah, you'd like go for a White Fox, you'd have them completely out of position, and even if they died, it would take them forever, because they're just sitting there and they're hitting you with attack after attack and can't shut it down. You'd have to, yeah, it'd take like 2 people to take out a White Fox a lot of times. So that's probably a good change. Is it enough? I don't know. So in some small situations it's going to be a buff, in some situations it's going to be a nerf. I don't think she's like oppressively overpowered or anything. She just needed tuning, and this is a tuning, so hopefully that's enough. And that's basically it. Punisher can ride Devil Dinosaur, and Emma Frost has her team-up range increased. So yeah, that's basically it. I pretty much already said what I needed to about strategists in general before. Just about everybody here is very usable. Gambit is still too good. Like Mantis and Ultron, triple does too much damage, and if you're running Loki, Loki got a damage nerf, Mantis got a damage nerf, so that should help with the triple support at least a little bit. Ultron's niche is like, he is a hard triple support strategist, and so he's going to continue to lean into that and provide more damage boosts, it seems like. And you know what? Having a character that's focused on just like buffing people is not really that big of a deal. Like if there's just one, he buffs, he just gives damage buffs. He's a little frail. He counters some specific team comps, but he can get completely shut down by others. He's actually pretty easy to deal with if you have decent aim. So overall, I think the changes were a small step in the right direction. I think they didn't address everything, obviously. Groot didn't get changed. Daredevil, Black Cat didn't get changed, although it might be a little early on Black Cat, and Gambit didn't get changed. And then in terms of weak characters, BP didn't get changed. Black Widow didn't get changed. I mean, Penny is still hyper niche, but I think that's just the way things are going to be. All in all, I think it's a good change. We'll have to see how it plays out and how Devil Dinosaur shakes up the meta.